Cows. Edward, the blue engine, was getting old. His bearings were worn, and he clanked as he puffed along. He was taking 20 empty cattle trucks to a market town. The sun shone, the birds sang, and some cows grazed in a field by the line. Edward puffed along. Come on, shh, shh, 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 come on, shh, shh. The trucks shouted out, oh, 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 oh. Edward puffed and clanked. The trucks rattled and grumbled. The cows were not used to trains. The noise and the smoke disturbed them. They twitched up their tails and ran. They galloped across the field, broke through the fence, and charged the train between the 13th and 14th trucks. The coupling broke, and the last 7 trucks left the rails. They were not damaged and stayed upright. They ran for a short way along the sleepers before stopping. Edward felt a jerk, but didn't take much notice. He was used to trucks. He said, oh, bother those trucks. Why can't they come quietly? Oh. He ran on to the next station before either he or his driver realized what had happened. When Gordon and Henry heard about the accident, they laughed and laughed. Oh dear, fancy allowing cows to break his train. They wouldn't dare do that to us, would they? We'd show them. Edward pretended not to mind, but Toby was cross. He said to Edward, you couldn't help it, Edward. They've never met cows. I have, and I know the trouble they are. Some days later, Gordon rushed through Edward's station. Mind the cows, mind the cows, mind the cows, mind the cows. And he laughed as he puffed up the hill. The coaches grumbled along behind. Don't make such a fuss, don't make such a fuss, don't make such a fuss, don't make such a fuss. They rumbled over the viaduct and roared through the next station. A long, straight stretch of line lay ahead. In the distance was a bridge. It had high parapets each side. It seemed to Gordon that there was something on the bridge. His driver thought so too. He said, whoa, Gordon, whoa, and shut off the steam. But Gordon said, phew, it's only a cow. Go on, shoo, shoo, shoo. And he moved slowly onto the bridge. But the cow wouldn't shoo. She had lost her calf and felt lonely. She said, and walked slowly towards Gordon. Gordon stopped. His driver, fireman, and some passengers tried to send the cow away, but she wouldn't go. So they gave it up. Presently, Henry arrived with a train from the other direction. Oh, hello! What's this? A cow? Oh, I'll soon settle her. Go on! Be off with you! Go on! Shoo! Shoo! But the cow turned and said, Henry backed away. I don't want to hurt her. You understand? Drivers, firemen, and passengers again tried to move the cow, but failed. Henry's guard went back and put detonators on the line to protect his train. At the nearest station, he told them about the cow. The porter said, here, that must be Bluebell. Her calf is here, ready to go to market. We'll take it along. So they unloaded the calf and took it to the bridge. The calf was very unhappy. It said, "Maa, maa," and Bluebell bellowed back, "Maa, maa." She nuzzled her calf happily, and the porter led them away. The two trains started. Gordon whispered to Henry as they passed, "Not a word. Keep it dark. You see what I mean?" But the story soon spread. Edward was very amused. Well. 2 big engines afraid of 1 cow. Well. Afraid? Rubbish. We didn't want the poor thing to hurt herself by running against us. We stopped so as not to excite her. You see what I mean, my dear Edward? You see what I mean? Oh, yes, Gordon. I see what you mean. But Gordon felt somehow that Edward saw only too well. Bertie's chase. Edward was very worried. "Oh dear, we are late." "Where is Thomas? He doesn't usually make us wait." Edward's fireman sang, "Oh dear, oh what can the matter be? Oh dear, what can the matter be? Johnny's so long at the fair." The driver laughed. "Oh, never mind Johnny, just you climb on top of this cab and look for Thomas. Now, can you see him? Now?" The guard looked at his watch. 10 minutes late. Well, we can't wait here all day." "No, we can't. Look again, Sid, just in case." "Well, can you see him?" "No. There's Bertie Bus in a tearing hurry. I can see him. No need to bother with him, though. He's probably on a coach tour or something." And the fireman clambered down. The guard said, "All right. We'll get along then. Right away." And Edward puffed off. Bertie Bus came roaring into the station yard. Stop! But it was no good. Edward's last coach had disappeared into the tunnel. Bertie said, "Oh, bother! Thomas is fireman not coming to work today. Oh, why did I promise to help the passengers catch the train? Oh, dear." Bertie's driver said, "That'll do, Bertie. A promise is a promise, and we must keep it." "All right then, I'll catch Edward or bust. Come on." And he raced off along the road and up the hill. "Oh, my gears and axles, I'll never be the same bus again. Oh dear. Oh, I can see Edward. Edward. And he cheered when he reached the top of the hill. Hooray! Edward! Oh no! He's already at the next station. Oh, I'll never catch him. No, he isn't. He's stopped by a signal. Hooray! And Bertie tore down the hill, his brakes squealing at the corners. His passengers bounced about like balls in a bucket. "Well done, Bertie! Go it, Bertie! Hens and dogs scattered in all directions as he raced through the village. Wait, Edward, wait, Edward! And he skidded into the station yard just in time to see the signal drop, the guard wave his flag, and Edward puff out of the station. Bertie's passengers rushed to the platform, but it was no good, and they came bustling back. Bertie was very unhappy. "Oh, I'm sorry. I'm very sorry." But the passengers said, "Never mind, Bertie, never mind. After him quickly. Third time lucky, you know. Do you think we'll catch him at the next station, driver?" "Well, there's a good chance. Our road keeps close to the line, and we can climb hills better than Edward. But here, wait a minute. I'll just make sure and have a word with the station master." And the passengers waited impatiently in the bus. Far away along the line, Edward was snorting and struggling up the hill. The coaches grumbled along behind. "This hill is too steep, this hill is too steep, this hill is too steep, this hill is too steep." But they reached the top at last and ran smoothly into the station. Edward whistled. "Come along, please. Get in quickly, please." The porters and people hurried, and Edward impatiently waited to start. The guard blew his whistle. And Edward's driver looked back, waiting for the green flag to wave. But the flag didn't wave, for in the distance, something was going. The station master ran across to the guard and snatched the green flag out of his hand. Then everything seemed to happen at once. Bertie came bowling into the station yard. His passengers poured onto the platform and scrambled into the train. The station master told the guard and driver what had happened, and Edward listened. He said to Bertie, "I'm sorry about the chase, Bertie. Very sorry. Oh, don't worry. It's my fault. Late at the junction. You didn't know about Thomas's passengers." Edward said, "That's all right, Bertie. That's all right. Well, goodbye, Bertie. We're off now." "Three cheers for Bertie! 3 cheers for Bertie!" And the passengers cheered and waved till they were out of sight. Saved from scrap. There is a scrapyard near Edward Station. It's full of rusty old cars and machinery. One day, Edward saw a traction engine in the yard. "Hello? What are you doing there?"
"Well, I'm Trevor, and they're going to break me up next week."
"Oh, no. What a shame."
"I know. My driver says I only need some paint and brasso and oil to be as good as new. But it's no good. My master doesn't want me. I suppose it's because I'm old-fashioned."
Well, old-fashioned. People say I'm old-fashioned, but I don't care. The Fat Controller says I'm a useful engine.
Ah, my driver says I'm useful too. I know I'm sometimes feels ill, but I don't give up like these modern tractors. I just struggle on and finish the job. I've never broken down in my life.
Well, what work do you do?
Well, my master would send us from farm to farm. We threshed the corn, hauled logs, sawed timber, and did lots of other work. We made friends at all the farms and saw them every year. The children loved to see us come. They followed us in crowds and watched us all day long. My driver would sometimes give them rides. Ah, yeah, the children. The children.
Trevor shut his eyes, remembering.
I like children, you know. Oh, yes, I like children.
Edward was quite indignant. Broken up? Broken up? A shame. Broken up? What a shame. And he clanked along back to work. I must help Trevor. I must. It's a shame. It's a shame. And he brought his coaches to the station. And there, waiting on the platform, was the vicar. He said to Edward's driver and fireman, "Morning, Charlie. Morning, Sid." And he said to Edward, "Hello, Edward. You look upset. What's the matter with him, Charlie? Well, there's a traction engine in the scrapyard, Vicar. He'll be broken up next week, and it's a shame. Jem Cole says he never drove a better engine." "Yes, that's right, sir. Do save him, sir. Do save him, sir. You've got room, sir." "Oh, yes, Edward. I've got room. But I don't need a traction engine. He'll saw wood and give children rides. Oh, do buy him, sir. Please." "Well, we'll see. We'll see." And the vicar climbed into the train. Jem Cole came to the scrapyard, and he said to Trevor, "The Reverend's coming to see you, Trevor. Maybe he'll buy you."
Buy me? Buy me? Do you think he will?
"He will when I've lit your fire and cleaned you up." When the vicar and his two boys arrived in the evening, Trevor was blowing off steam. He hadn't felt so happy for months. Jem called out, "Watch this, Reverence." And Trevor chuffered happily about the yard. The boys pleaded, "Oh, do buy him, Daddy, do buy him." "Well, let me try, Trevor, first of all." And the vicar climbed up beside Jem. "Come on, show your paces, Trevor." And Trevor went off around the yard. Then the vicar went into the office and came out smiling. "I've got him cheap, Jem. Quite cheap. Do you hear that, Trevor? The Reverend saved you, and you live at the vicarage now." Trevor's home in the vicarage orchard is close to the railway, and he sees Edward every day. His paint is spotless, and his brass shines like gold. Trevor likes doing his old jobs, but his happiest day is the church fete. Then, with a long wooden seat bolted to his bunker, he chuffers around the orchard, giving rides to the children. Long afterwards, you will see him with his eyes closed, remembering.
I like children. I do like children.
Old Iron. One day, James had to wait at Edward's station till Edward and his train came in. This made him cross. He shouted out, "Late again, late again." But Edward only laughed. And James fumed away. "Edward, is impossible. He clanks about like a lot of old iron, and he's so slow he makes us wait. One day, James' driver felt ill, and so the fireman drove the train to the next station. He spoke to the signalman, put the trucks in a siding, and uncoupled James ready for shunting. Then he helped the driver over to the station and asked them to look after him and find a relief driver. Suddenly, the signalman shouted, and the fireman turned round and saw James puffing away on his own. He ran as fast as he could, but he couldn't catch James, and soon came back to the signal box. The signalman was busy stopping all the trains. All traffic halted, up and down lines are clear for 30 miles, and the inspector's coming. The fireman mopped his face. What happened? What happened? The signalman said, "Well, I saw it all. Two boys climbed onto James's footplate. I shouted at them, and when James started, they tumbled off and ran like rabbits. Well, just let me catch them, that's all. Just let me catch them. I'll teach them to meddle with my engine." Then the telephone rang, and the signalman answered. "Yes, yes. He's here, yes. Right. I'll tell him then. Yes, yes. The inspector's coming at once in Edward, and he wants a shunter's pole and a coil of wire rope." "What for?" "Well, search me, but you better get them quickly." The fireman was ready and waiting with the pole and rope when Edward and the inspector arrived. "Ah, good man. Come along, jump in. Off we go, Edward. We've got to catch him." Edward puffed off. "Don't worry, we'll catch him. Don't worry, we'll catch him. Don't worry, we'll catch him." And Edward crossed to the up line in hot pursuit. When James left the yard, he was chuckling to himself. "What a lark, what a lark." But presently he missed his driver's hand on the regulator, and then he realized that there was no one in his cab. "What shall I do? What shall I do? I can't stop. I can't stop. Help! Help! Help!" But Edward came panting up behind him with every ounce of steam he had. "We're coming! We're coming! We're coming!" With a great effort, he caught up and crept alongside, slowly gaining till his smoke box was level with James's buffer beam. The inspector stood on Edward's front, holding a noose of rope in the crook of the shunter's pole. He was trying to slip it over James's buffer. The engines swayed and lurched. "Steady, Edward! Steady, Edward!" He tried again, and more than once. He nearly fell, but just saved himself. And then at last, got him. He pulled the noose tight and came back to the cab safely. Gently braking so as not to snap the rope, Edward's driver checked the engine's speed, and James's fireman scrambled across and took control, and the two engines puffed back side by side. Edward was very pleased with himself. "So old iron caught you after all, James, eh? Oh, I'm sorry, Edward. Thank you for saving me." "Oh, that's all right." "You were splendid, Edward." The fat controller was waiting, and thanking the men warmly, he said, A fine piece of work. A fine piece of work. The two naughty boys were soon caught by the police, and their fathers walloped them soundly. They were also forbidden to watch trains till they could be trusted. James's driver soon got well in hospital and is now back at work. James missed him very much, but he missed Edward more, and you'll be glad to know that when Edward came home the other day, James and all the other engines gave him a tremendous welcome. The Fat Controller thinks he'll be deaf for weeks.